You could make a Hollywood movie out of that. If anybody wants the rights, sign them off. Get in touch. Hi, I'm Neurodadversity. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, I'm a late diagnosed neurodivergent father of 2 neurodivergent kids, and I'm here to help you navigate this wacky world that is neurodiversity and everything that comes with it. If that sounds like your bag, don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and press the ADHD notification bell. Because let's face it, we're all going to forget to do that later on in the video anyway, aren't we? So let's get stuck in and let's see what we've got to uncover today. Now today I want to talk about my reasons for starting up this channel, my own personal reasons. Where do I begin is the answer. So I'm a fairly average guy with an overactive brain, and I have always been pushed as the gifted person. I was always the one at school that was going to do well. I was the one that at primary school they said I was going to be famous because I was a performer. I'm the one at secondary school pushed because I had the brains, but the school system's so messed up in the UK that I struggled near the end. Now my idea of struggling is probably different to yours because I still got decent grades, but I never fitted in. I got bullied at school, or at least what I thought was bullying. We'll come to that in another video. Realised I wasn't academic. I was clever but not academic. So while all my friends were getting posh degrees from Cambridge and Oxford, I still got a decent degree, but something didn't feel right. And then I graduated in 2008, the year of the recession, having gone through the school system being told to get a career job and to live the stereotypical, neurotypical lifestyle. So after a couple of years of doing gigs and not really getting anywhere, I decided to settle down with my girlfriend at the time. We ended up getting married, having 2 children, who are incredible, hence the dad bit in Neurodadversity. But our lives weren't great. Something didn't feel right with both of us, me and my ex. And my daughter was getting assessed. We realised that she was expressing behaviours different to other children her age. She really struggled with sleep. She was restless. Her speech was delayed, and we couldn't work out what was going on. And then it became clear through a chance event that my ex saw somebody at her work with pathological demand avoidance, that we realised that there was a high chance that our daughter was autistic and had ADHD. So while she's going through all the processes now, 2.5 years later, me and my ex decided to both get tested for ADHD because we looked at the symptoms and went, wow, this is us, man, this is a different league. This answers all our questions, because she was the same as me. We both had these struggles throughout our childhood. Different upbringings. She had the broken home, I didn't. We now knew why we were weird, why we were different, why we were lazy, why we couldn't focus. Notice how these are all negative words. We're not lazy. We're efficient. A couple of weeks after my diagnosis, I got made redundant. And without going into too much detail, it was too much of a coincidence to be a week before the UK government furloughed everybody. Read into that what you will. And from February 2020 started the worst 2 years of my life. This could be a Hollywood movie in itself. 6 months wondering what on earth I was going to do with my life. I spent a whole month locked in a room trying to code to get on a coders boot camp. Failed that miserably, so I had a breakdown. I then called up the local mental health service, IAPT. It took them a whole year to get back to me. I'll let that sink in. 12 months, not acceptable. Let's fast forward a bit to October. My ex-boss from a different job years ago, having worked in retail as a retail manager, he said to me, "You've got a degree in English, why don't you be a writer?" And I was like, "You can get paid for that? I thought you had to just write a book solidly for 3 months and cross your fingers and hope for the best." And he said, "No, they pay you to do writing and it's a decent pay." And I thought, hang on a minute, I've been slaving away 45 hours a week in one of the busiest shops in the country, not even earning the national average, and you telling me that I can earn the national average in the UK by working 20 to 30 hours a week sat behind a computer just doing something that I find naturally I'm good at anyway. He was like, yeah. He got me in touch with the agency that he's on the books for, one of the biggest in the world. I got on them. I got on the books. I was, blimey, it's all right. start writing for them. And then all of a sudden, I got a shout out from a dear friend of mine on LinkedIn, and work came flooding in, absolutely flooding in. By the time it got to March 2021, I was running 400 hours business. I had to employ somebody, although I was self-employed, so it was outsourcing the work to somebody else. So I had to outsource half the work. I had too many clients, I was burnt out, my relationship was struggling, and then I lost my driving license through no fault of my own in April, because somebody at the DVLA didn't read a tick box properly. A tick box that was ticked correctly, they didn't read it properly. And because of that, I had to sell my car. I lost all my clients because my emotional burnout, and I had to give it all up and just work on the agency work. I also lost my marriage because I just gave up. That was the hardest thing. I got to a rock bottom point where luckily a friend of mine took me in and housed me for a few months until I got back on my feet. And at this point, my best friend had stopped talking to me. This is where it gets ridiculous. As if the summer wasn't bad enough. It then got to moving into this house here, and I'd pay for all the refurnishing the house. But I still didn't have a car at this point. I had the stress of adjusting from barely seeing my kids over the summer to having them 3.5 days a week in the house, which was incredible. But when you've got 2 neurodivergent kids and you're a single dad who's not particularly paternal, and I had no idea what I was doing, that was a culture shock. So that was stressful. My friend who took me in the summer disappeared off the face of the earth, which is another story, but for personal reasons I'm not going to go into that one because out of respect for them. Eventually I got so burnt out one day that I asked my mum and dad to come up because they don't live local, and on the way home they were in a car crash. Luckily they were okay. In Christmas week I lost my therapist, I lost my main source of income, the agency, and as a result I couldn't afford to pay my support worker, which I'm getting government funding for, which I will talk about in my videos because I'm quite passionate about that, and that's a good thing. All in all, it's been terrible, and this is why I'm starting my YouTube channel. I'm starting with a roof over my head and a car. Oh, that was the other thing, I got my license back. Ooh. I've got some software, but I've got no clients, I've got no therapist, I've got no support worker, I've got no friends. Well, I've got friends, but not close friends. You know the kind. Got a relationship either. So I'm completely just... But do you know what they say? The only way is up. The only way is up. I'm hoping that whoever's watching this, whether it's yourself or a family member or a colleague or a friend that you care about, that you want to help, I'm hoping that my experiences will help everybody else, because right now that's all I've got and that's all I need. And you will see me in a much happier, overly hyperactive, giddy light, because that's how my ADHD works. But right now I'm suspecting that I am masking. You could make a Hollywood movie out of that. If anybody wants the rights, sign them off. Get in touch with me. Make sure that you do press the like button and the subscribe button and the notification bell, because the notification bell is the key thing, especially if you're like me and you've got ADHD and you forget these things. If you click the notification bell and put all notifications, it'll tell you when my videos go online or whether I go live as well. So thank you so much for watching. Stick around, follow me on the socials, and let's do this together.